Welcome to the Village People's Weekly Roundup, Part 2. You've reached Talking with Dr. Terry, 180 Seconds to a Better You, message number 98. I'm Dr. Terry Wurzbacher, and this call is dedicated to Kathy in New Jersey. When we move on to who's the most important person in your life, Karen said it brought back the awareness that there are so many things that we take for granted and we should glorify more moments. And I think if we do that, it just makes your day happier. Aaron talked about him having been a pastor in this gigantic church which went to 50 campuses, what I call syndicated, but I don't know what the real word is. Anyway, it was all across America. He'd get done on Sunday, he'd come down off the stage, people would shake his hand and want his autograph, and then he'd go to his second job, which was pushing Walmart carts, and people would just push carts at him, ignore him, and treat him like dog poop. It made him appreciate the value of the worker and who's behind everything that we do. And so he said there aren't very many people that he doesn't thank these days, and I think that's something we all should adopt. April appreciated this call because of the business that she runs, but she also has a way too active imagination. She pictured me running out in a towel to talk to the water workers. That would be considered a terrorist attack here, I think. I love your imagination, April. Regarding the change call, Chaz talked about how change is hard, but it's also good. Karen summarized again beautifully, sometimes people who introduce change are actually trying to stay in their comfort zone. Ramona told me about her experiences with a hospice and comfort care home, and that was touching. Again, Ramona, thank you. I love the topic of change since it impacts so many of our lives that I'll be bringing it up again and again, and I hope that's okay with you guys. April said it's hard to hold space for all opinions and preferences. Coach Clifford talked about how, as a coach, it's not an off season, they call it an improvement season, and perhaps that's something that we could think about too. And Jeff from Toledo has a baseball team in Knoxville, and that made him think of me getting ready to run across or walk across Tennessee. Karen said she's about to have a conversation where these tips might be helpful. She's not always that great at listening. And Karen, the book's name is How to Listen with Intention by Patrick King. And Ramona said, this is interesting. She wanted to add this from Dr. Gilbert. At some point, we could include in this conversation, because of this, something good will happen, because it will provide the sense of purpose to deliver hope. To this, I say yes and no. It really depends on how well you know the other person. Sometimes it'll be well received, but at others, it'll be considered dismissive or lecturing, and that will turn someone's off, make them feel invalidated. So it's a great example of why you have to know something about the person you're conversing with. And if you don't, it's just better to stay away from anything that might be considered judgmental, even if you don't mean it that way. Frank felt that he would like to hear more of this, as did Holly and Susan. We can definitely talk more about this, as I love it.